Good day everybody, I'm back with another speed painting video, and today's topic is Portuguese food. I chose two different food items, Caldo Verde and Pastel de nata, because I thought these two were a good representation of Portuguese cuisine. And I also thought they were visually appealing and would be fun to draw, so there we have it. I have here with me again Alex.
Hello.
Or should we say Alexandre Ribeiro?
Yes.
And Alex is going to tell us a little bit about Caldo Verde and what it is.
Well, I don't know anything about the historical origins of Caldo Verde. I know it's a very typical dish, and by typical I mean that you can eat it anywhere in the country. My mom used to make it for me, but same thing for my grandmother, and everybody eats it. Now, it's eaten more often during the festivities of the popular saints, which is kind of around June, July, the beginning of summer. But to be honest, it's something that you can make all year round.
And can you tell us what is in this soup? Like, what's it made of?
It's not very hard to make. So the bottleneck...
Just tell us what's in it.
Okay, it's kale, shredded kale, which is the bottleneck, the hard part, to shred the kale really well. Potato, onions, and salt, etc. Olive oil, lots of olive oil.
And most people put in slices of chorizo, right?
Yes, there's this chorizo, it's
sausage.
It's a pork sausage, and people put a little bit. Some people put a lot, which is too much, but typically you shouldn't put too much, just 1 or 2 pieces maximum.
Not for me.
Okay.
I prefer more than 2 pieces in my soup. Now we can't forget to mention how important bread is to Portuguese food, meals, especially when you're having soup, right?
Yeah, depending on where you're from in the country, like in the south, people eat bread all the time during the meal, not just with the soup.
Wait, is broa from the north or the south, or?
Well, I think it's kind of a center-north thing. The south has a different type of bread.
Okay. I keep thinking about that bread we had during Christmas at your parents' place. That was, maybe unique to your area. It was really crispy and on the outside and light.
Yeah, I think I've never eaten it anywhere else. I don't even know what's it called.
Right. It was really good paired with that fresh, cold sheep cheese.
Yeah, requeijão.
Awesome.
In my opinion, Portuguese cuisine is based on simplicity. The dishes are not very complex, they're not hard to make. Even when they're laborious, they're simple tasks that just take time. Therefore, the key for cooking well in Portugal is to use good ingredients, using good fish, good olive oil,
quality produce.
Exactly, good quality produce.
Yes, you've definitely helped me appreciate more good quality olive oil. Before, I wouldn't really care about that kind of thing and just use whatever for cooking, right? But you've taught me about good olive oil that you can dip bread into to savor or toss into salad dressings.
But the interesting thing is that olive oil is just part of Portuguese cuisine very recently. If you look at the Middle Ages, olive oil was not used for cooking. People cooked with lard. Olive oil was basically used for illumination, so it's some kind of fuel for illumination.
Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, it is really hard to draw or try to paint food. The reason why I wanted to do this video was to practice painting food. I feel like what was supposed to be the kale in the drawings, the dark little green pieces, actually looks like seaweed to me.
You know what's funny is that, when you go to the ocean, to the beach, then you go for a swim, and if there's a lot of seaweed, sometimes some people say, "Oh man, this looks like Caldo Verde."
Oh, really?
So yeah, the analogy has been made before. You're not the first one doing it.
Now, two Portuguese foods that I've had to practice and experience peeling in order to get the hang of were percebre. It's a seafood, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what it is.
It's a seafood. It grows.
It grows. It's
on rocks.
Yeah, it stays on the rocks.
Yeah, in the interface between the ocean and the air.
Would that be considered in the mollusk category, or?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Anyway, it's delicious, guys. And the Portuguese, at least from what I've seen, they sometimes even harvest it fresh from the ocean, and then they boil it in the seawater to
keep the flavor of the ocean.
Keep that good umami flavor. I've had to learn how to peel open those properly, and also the bean that you can have alcoholic drinks with. What's it called again?
Oh yeah, it's kind of a snack you eat with beer. It's a tremoço.
Yeah, I never say that correctly. That one was also difficult for me to understand how to open.
It's an acquired skill to learn how to open it. In fact, I remember when I was a kid, it took me a while to master that skill. But once you learn it, it's like riding a bike. You never forget it, and it becomes super easy.
Are you sure?
It's a fun snack to eat when you're drinking beer with friends. I have great memories of summer nights drinking beer and eating tremoço.
Yeah, but I think it'd be frustrating for a beginner because if you're, drinking a bit too much and you get buzzed and the bean is shooting out of the little socket,
that's why
you're never gonna eat it.
You need to practice and start early in your life.
Yeah, I still have more practice to do with that. So what do you think of this final Caldo Verde drawing of mine?
Well, you can tell it's Caldo Verde because of the color combination, but I cannot really see the threads of kale. But I think it's good. It's a good exercise.
Thank you. It was really hard.
Is it your first time making food?
In this much detail, like as a serious practice, yes.
So what are you doing now?
Okay, so the next food item, I thought I would choose the dessert Pastel de nata.
Oh yeah, it's a dessert, but you can also eat it not as a dessert. You can eat it anytime as a mid-morning snack or a mid-afternoon snack, or with tea, with coffee. Most typically people eat it with coffee, and you put cinnamon and a little bit of sugar if it's not sweet enough, and you eat it while you drink an espresso, a bica.
And you can find this at pretty much any cafe in Portugal, right? But
the best ones are in Belém, which is a neighborhood of Lisbon, and also Martim da Arcádia, which is in Lisbon downtown, also sells good quality pastéis. But yes, you can find it all over the country. However, the quality varies a lot, and in my opinion, the best ones are definitely in Lisbon.
I think it's really interesting that people from China don't realize that little pastry in Macau, or is it Macau that they usually make that it originates from the Portuguese pastel de nata.
Yeah, the Portuguese pastel de nata, they call it Portuguese egg custards. They are now much more famous than just in Macau. They're all over China. You can even find it when we lived in San Francisco. The Chinese bakeries, they would sell Portuguese egg tarts. So it's now a very famous Chinese dessert, very appreciated in China, and of course by Chinese immigrants in the US.
Yeah. And actually another thing I remembered is that egg is a very key ingredient in Portuguese dessert making, right?
Yes, and cinnamon, mainly in the north. All northern desserts that I know have cinnamon. The egg detail, it's just one small note. It's related to a lot of the most famous desserts, and Pastel de nata is one of them, were developed and made initially in convents.
By the nuns, you said?
Not by the nuns, but by, from my understanding, from what I know, it's by the ladies that couldn't marry. They would end up in convents. They weren't nuns, but at the same time, they were living there and they had nothing to do, so they would be creative and make desserts. That's what I've heard. I don't know if this is true.
Okay. Well, in any case, if anybody out there has never eaten this before, I really recommend it. I try to eat it almost every day when I'm visiting Portugal.
And there are other, this is like a small dessert, like a custard-like dessert. There are many others. We call them pastéis, queijadas. There are many other versions. Not, of course, it's not the same thing. It's different. It can look identical, but there are many different versions of the concept, but made differently and tasting differently. And I really recommend you guys to try different versions and different ways of doing these kinds of desserts or sweets.
Yeah. There is one Portuguese dessert that I do not like, however. Oh, okay, that was the cat.
What dessert is that you don't like?
The one that is made with angel hair pasta.
Oh, no, that's my favorite Portuguese dessert.
But I think it's kind of an abomination.
My grandmother used to make it every Christmas, and towards the end of her conscient life, she used to make it any time I visited. It's called letria de ovos, and it's my favorite dessert ever.
I just think it's wrong if you put milk and sugar and all that stuff on top of like spaghetti noodles. That's just weird to me.
Well, probably I made it really badly because it's an amazing dessert, or it's an acquired taste. I've been having it since I was a kid, and it's my favorite dessert ever. I always love it. And the best one was the one made by my grandmother. That's without any question.
I really wish I would have tried her version.
Probably was better than mine.
Who knows? So, Alex, what do you think about the drawing so far, these two?
Oh, I like it. I like them a lot. I think you did a great job. It really pictures the way they look, and I'm starting to feel hungry, which it's a good sign for someone. It's a compliment to someone that is drawing food. So, congrats, good job.
Well, you flatter me. But I do want to clarify, people, that I am using reference photos for these. There's no way at all that I'd be able to draw this from memory. Of
course, if you had them in front of you, you would also be able to draw them. That's what a lot of people do. Yeah.
And even if I tried drawing food that I have seen all my life, I don't know if I'd be able to do justice to all the different textures and colors.
Yeah, that's true. So what else do you like about Portuguese food experiences?
I'd have to say that almost pretty much every wine that I've had, Portuguese wine, is good wine.
We also have some bad wine.
Yes, but all the ones I've had were a hit.
Which regions? Do you remember the regions that you had wine from?
Yeah, I think you told me that my favorite wine region was Alentejo.
Yeah, Alentejo, wines from Alentejo, whenever you have them, you always like them.
And what about you? What do you prefer?
Well, I'm biased. I was born in a wine region, so I'm a little bit chauvinistic, and I say that Dão is the best wine, and it's not chauvinism, it's reality. The best wines I've ever had are from Dão. However, you can find amazing wines from Douro. To be honest, I've been learning that you can find amazing wines all over the country. It's just that Dão, Douro, and Alentejo are areas that produce a lot. But for example, I used to think that the region around Lisbon, Extremadura, and Ribatejo didn't produce good wine. I was wrong. I met friends from there, and they showed me really good wine. The reality is they don't produce enough of that amazing wine to sell in other regions of the country or even to export. But there is amazing wine. all over the country.
Really great stuff.
Something very particular that you will not find anywhere or even like it anywhere, it's vinho verde. It's in the extreme northwest, a region called Minho, and it's basically the type of grapes are completely different from the other grapes that are used to make wine, and that makes a very different wine, and we've had it.
Oh yeah, I know. It's basically green. The translation is green wine, but it's like a white wine, right?
It can also be red wine. There's red, green wine, and you've had it also.
Oh,
The taste,
really?
it's actually the taste that makes it the way it is. That categorizes it as being different from the wine that our palates are more used to.
Huh. I don't remember having that green red wine.
Yeah.
But apparently I did.
Yeah, there's a season to drink it also. In my family, we drink it a lot in the summer, like June, July, August, and then we don't drink it much during the winter. Winter is more for red wines.
So you would say that vinho verde is like an in-between of red and white wine?
No, vinho verde is a completely different concept.
Then what foods would go well with it?
Summer foods, I would say, I may be wrong, but I would like to have it with seafood, with fish, something like that, or salad.
Okay. Oh my gosh, we're out of time again. Thank you so much, Alex, for recording with me again. And
my pleasure.
I hope this has taught some people about a bit of Portuguese cuisine. Thank you. Bye bye.